in most, well, not all countries, I don't think.
Really?
Oh, I'm sure there's some countries that
Allow that?
I think Washington, it was pretty
the state
legal.
of Washington.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a state in the United States where I'm pretty sure you can still animals.
Because there was a whole farm.
Not
That's how
every
Mr.
animal.
Hands died.
No.
Yeah, doesn't mean it was legal.
Yeah, I don't think that was
That was in
legal.
California.
That
you
wasn't-
You
was
can't
it?
f*** a horse here.
Oh, I thought
Trust me, I know.
This must have been like one of those. Trust me.
I've looked into it.
Hello, I am Curtis.
Hello, I am Austin.
Hello, I'm Cody, and I don't have a lot of room back here.
Hello, I'm Lucas.
Well, the frame looks good, so.
Yep,
It's fine.
It's too late.
I'll
We
survive.
are the horror movie podcast where we discuss the films that freak you out and the friendships us that are even freakier.
I don't know if I agree with that
Yeah,
because I like you guys.
yeah. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean we're not freaky.
Correct.
Okay.
We're real
We
freaky.
constantly talking about animals.
That's
That's a freaky relationship.
We're real freaky.
Is it freaky to talk about
Would you want
animal masturbation?
Would you want to be best friends with somebody that doesn't want to talk about that?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah, that's why.
Right,
we
but it's
just,
still
is it freaky?
freaky.
we just know each
It's
other.
fine. Pull out your company Slack
That's
and
why-
let's send a message. Let us send a message.
That's
See?
why.
These are freaky friendships.
That's why all my friends. No. That's why all my friends, when we're together, look at us, go like, "I'll never have that."
Because they don't talk
Yeah.
about masturbating animals?
They. I guess they don't.
They got
want to.
they got limits. We got no limit. We're so close there. We got no limits. We can talk
Yeah.
about anything.
We're-
This is a true brotherhood.
anybody-
You
I
no
can-
limit soldiers, if you will.
I can bring up in my mind what Austin's asshole looks like. I know it intimately.
We've been friends that long.
You're not wrong. I know exactly what his balls look like.
Yeah, that's years of exposure.
So much, so much sag.
It's healthy.
It is healthy.
That's how
Yeah.
they're made.
Yeah, that's how God made him.
But they look
Are you
beautiful.
questioning God?
I didn't
now?
say that it was beautiful.
There was a tone.
There wasn't a tone.
They're the,
Call
they're
them
the,
saggy.
they're the
They're saggy.
fields of tulips in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
We did describe it that way.
Yeah.
See? Yeah.
Yeah. His balls are the fields, and his pubes are the tulips, and they come out really easily, apparently.
Well,
He
I think-
disclosed earlier today.
I think that's. I wasn't necessarily going to do that on the show, but here we are.
I was going to leave it at Netherlands.
I think that's true of all scrotus. I believe all scrotus, the hair resistance is low.
Is it scrotus? Is that the word?
I don't think so.
No, that's what we call the court of the land.
Got it. Okay.
According to the scrotus,
According the decision down from Scrotus today.
I missed you guys.
all right.
Yeah,
We missed you.
I missed
and
you
it's only
guys.
been a week.
Only been a week.
It's been barely
Less,
a week.
less than that.
Less
for
than a
few
week,
of us.
actually.
Yeah.
Less than a week for all of us.
Yeah, less than a week for all of us.
Because
even
we all
less for
experienced
some.
something very special.
Yeah, we called an audible. That's a sports term for you nerds out there. Called an audible on the release this week. The recording and subsequent, I think probably first movie you will get in Cody's. I don't know. We'll decide on that.
Right.
Do they know about the theme yet?
Yeah.
No.
No. No,
This
they don't.
episode-
Wait,
they
and
don't.
Oh, yeah.
Man just came out.
Was the last one that
No.
came
Yeah.
out.
So when Mother comes out,
When Mother, they'll get the theme.
Yeah.
But if we blitz
Yes.
this in, they'll know the theme.
this may or may not be the first episode you're hearing in our new theme, and this may or may not be the first time you're hearing of the new theme because we haven't finished the last one yet. But we did watch something that made us feel forcibly. We had to force ourselves into recording about it ASAP.
We were compelled. We were
was
compelled to record this to get here and talk about this as quickly as possible.
Also, we want clicks.
Yeah.
We also want to grow this show.
Why?
We want more of you because we have a really sick Patreon. If you're not on, you need to go and join our Patreon for patreon.com/SHUDcast or the SHUDcast. I'll let you find out. It's a fun little game. $3 or $5 a month. It's all you got to pay. $3, you get a Discord with a bunch of other cool horror little freaky dudes like you. We talk about cool freaky horror stuff all day. It's great. $5, you get bonus mini episodes and other stuff when we feel like doing it.
Shout out to Ruth, new subscriber.
Ruth!
We got a new one?
We got a new one.
We tricked a new one?
We tricked another Aussie, I believe.
Ruth!
Yeah.
That's going to be my first question. Is Sweet Baby Ruth, are you from Australia? Did you learn about us in Melbourne when you went to Fright Fest? Friday Fright Fest?
Friday
Fright
Fraught features.
And if you're
at FOMO Cinemas?
and if you're actually a baby, I think for legal reasons we might need you to cancel.
No, if the baby's got money, I
They've
want it.
found their loophole. I don't have any reason to.
It's international. It's fine. Well,
We
there's
are
no
pro
laws.
baby independence here. If a baby's got a credit card, they can use that credit card however they want.
I just on record saying that if she's a baby,
That
might
you
need
don't
to
want
cancel.
babies to have autonomy?
I want them. We're not going to talk about this.
Ruth, are you
Walked
okay
into a
asking if
trap.
you are a baby or not? Yeah, you did. You walked into a trap. Yes, join on Discord. As
Thank
also
you,
eloquently
Ruth. Thanks for being
stated.
here. Please tell us on Discord if you learned about us from Melbourne. And I guess since we're talking about it, we did a cute little video that played
So cute.
in Melbourne, Australia, before The Exorcist. That people saw our faces and heard our dumb voices, and then they watched a short film that I made, and
They
then
liked
they
it.
and then they watched The Exorcist. What?
They didn't boo, right? They liked it.
If they booed, Tristan spared me that humiliation.
Got it.
He said there were laughs.
Tristan, if they booed, text me.
Yeah,
But if they booed during the song that Austin and I wrote, don't text me.
that was the only boo. Like loved it all except his song.
The song at the end's
If it's about the song that Austin and I wrote, I don't want to know about it.
I'd almost be happy to get like actual booze,
Yeah.
like booze and tomatoes.
Absolutely.
You don't
Yeah.
get those anymore.
No.
It's like, well, at least I did something.
Tomatoes.
true.
Yeah, throwing
You
tomatoes.
can bring tomatoes back.
I don't think in a movie theater you're okay with that.
They're bringing chickens now.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's within the realm of
But
possibility.
Jack Black said to stop.
And I'm sure it did. I saw another video of some lady like screaming at a kid behind her.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
you did it 5 fucking times. Shut the fuck up.
Hell yeah.
Get out. Yeah.
That's
It's a
awesome.
war zone. In there.
With an actual chicken or
No, there was no chicken involved. She was screaming at a chicken. Get the fuck out.
What a bad theater for not catching a live chicken being snuck into your theater.
Truthfully.
also
There's no way it was calm.
That's yeah, that's remarkable, right? Like you have to assume that like at numerous times, right?
well, and just the like
never know.
constant.
in
the
the
shirt.
hoodie or whatever.
Yeah, the ruffling of feathers and shit. It's crazy.
No, I've
One,
seen
please. He's just bleeding because of fucking talons.
Minecraft, please.
Yeah, one.
He didn't smuggle it in a cage. It was under his shirt.
I don't know how he smuggled it in. I can't imagine it's in a cage. That's going to draw more attention than
I've
the shirt.
seen
I don't know,
the bag people at Burbank. He can be a bag person and have brought a chicken in a bag
And like
Chicken in a
people
bag.
bring their
Yeah.
I've seen people bring their dogs in their carriers.
all the time.
That's a nightmare. I'm violently opposed to that.
I think it's mean to the dog.
That's what my point.
know.
It's mean to the dog. Dog doesn't know what's
The
happening.
amount
There's
of
just loud
dogs I
noises.
see at the movies
Just
now.
dogs at warfare.
Jesus Christ.
There've been a few that Maddie and I almost took Rod to a few movies, but then like the moment that we were about to go, we were like, it's gonna be
Could you
loud.
imagine? Yeah.
That's not fair.
He won't enjoy that.
No, he won't enjoy that.
Would you take Rod to go see like an Air Bud if they did like a new Air Bud reboot?
If it was quiet,
Like a dog-friendly
Hey,
screening.
Yeah.
the Alamo does. They do dog screenings.
really?
Yep,
And
and
the
they
one
also
downtown?
Yep.
No
and,
shit.
And they also do like sensory friendly screenings where like the sound will be down a little bit, lights will be a little bit on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I could not be in charge of that.
Never.
The
No.
temptation to ruin people's days would be way too high.
You mean
Oops. Just air horn.
You're terrible.
I know. It's-
Terrible.
I have that in me. I know that. I know I have that devil in me, and I fight him every day. So if anything, I'm a great person because this
Keep
is
it
who
at
I
bay.
am, and I have this mountain of evil that I'm constantly holding back.
Toxica behavior. You should be happy I'm not abusing you right now.
Look, there's a point in there that I think is worth exploring.
Have you ever said this to Kaylin if you guys get in an argument?
No, we have never had an
You
argument.
should
I'm
be
always
lucky
right.
I'm not punching you.
I feel like this has been taken out of hand and out of context, and I'd like to reiterate. What I mean is I have dark impulses, and I shove them back down.
It's like punching.
No punching, no domestic abuse, just silly pranks that are on the edge of not okay. Like traumatizing people who specifically went to a screening to not be traumatized.
They're in the screening like, okay,
Or by
hey,
saying,
this is nice. Here.
first of all, you had to brave downtown to get to the sensory
truthfully.
deprivation movie. Like maybe
true.
you don't do that.
Yeah, isn't it by? It's like by Pershing Square, isn't it?
oh, it's in the worst place you can imagine.
Yeah,
it's by Pershing Square.
They walked by.
It's a Willy Wonka maze to drive up to the fucking
Yeah.
thing. The spiral
Yeah.
parking garage.
Then
is
you get out. You got to
ridiculous.
walk by the witch from Mulholland Drive. I'll suck your dick. Oh fuck.
Lucas and I were down there last week, and we showed up like in the middle of the day,
the witch.
and
It's a witch.
he looked at me as we were walking around down there. He goes, "I think it's probably going to be like." Probably more relaxed down here during the day than it is at night, like when you think you might be fighting for your life, like even on some of the main streets. As we were walking, I was like, no, I actually think it might be worse.
I can see it all.
It's worse
Yeah.
because they're just waking up, so they're all well rested. Like we
They're
were watching
recharged.
this poor woman being accosted by a vagrant. Like we had to like stop and go like, is she going to be okay? And this woman had to just like jet across the street to avoid this guy. We're like, oh, it's way worse right now.
Or that other dude that was just doing a hollow hold.
legs in the air, tucked up. I'm like, Jesus,
No shirt on, just hollow.
what a
hole.
core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah,
That's
downtown LA.
Yeah. Don't if you're visiting, don't go there.
You could skip it.
We're on Main Street.
Yeah. I had a
Yeah.
client.
It's Main Street.
We had an old client recently come visit LA, and they we met up for lunch, and they were like, "Where are you staying?" Like, "Oh, this hotel like here." And I looked, I'm like, "Oh, downtown? Why are you there?" Because if you don't know, you think like, "Well, that's Los
The
Angeles."
center of
It
it.
says Los Angeles,
No.
but it's like no, you
Avoid
don't,
it.
don't.
Same
go
shit
there.
happened to me, man. I took a colleague that was in town to a baseball game. Baseball game ended, and I was like, I'll give you a ride if you want. Where you staying? He's like, downtown at the Marriott. And I was like, well, I mean, at least it's the Marriott, but why? He goes, well, it was downtown, so I figured that like
No.
that's like the right place. It's like, no.
Yeah, no one knows.
No, this isn't-
It's the one city
No.
in America where that's fucking
Well,
absolutely
with him,
false.
I was like, bitch,
So
you're from,
untrue.
you live in fucking New York. Do you tell people to stay in Times Square?
Yeah, yeah,
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Manhattan makes sense. Like, he was probably thinking like, "Oh, this is probably like
Right.
Manhattan." It's not. It's like some shitty part of New Jersey. Suck it, New Jersey.
We should talk about the other stuff we watched this week because we
Yes.
have a main event that
Yeah,
who knows?
They already know about.
You know because you clicked, but who knows how long we're going to talk about for? So we should just get into it.
Sure,
let's
that's
do it.
fair. Okay, I will go first. Why not? I watched 3 movies. I rewatched The Accountant.
Me too.
Oh, I need to get
Curtis
on that.
rewatched.
I need
that
to get
comes
on
out
that.
this week. That sequel.
I was sure I'd never seen it,
yeah.
I just learned about this.
and then within
Yeah.
minutes of it starting, I was like, I've definitely seen this movie, and this movie
Yeah.
fucking fucks.
Yeah, it does.
And then we kept watching it, and I was like, that's right, dude. This movie. Have you seen this?
No, I got a text message from Curtis going like, "Have you seen The Accountant? Because you would fucking love
The movie,
this movie."
the movie
Yeah.
fucking rules, dude. It's sick. Like it's a really solid, good fucking movie.
And it's the idea that should fall the flattest on its face that you imagine.
it sounds
It's-
crazy.
It's
But-
about an accountant.
It's about
Not only is he an accountant,
he is an autistic accountant
Oh, it's the good accountant.
played by Ben Affleck, but he's so good. He is so good in this role. It's
Wow.
great.
Yeah, just incredible. In it.
and he's like, he like shoots people and stuff, right?
It's John Wick, dude.
John Wick, but John Wick is an accountant who's also autistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to make this really clear
Crazy.
because I'm starting to get like it now makes me a little itchy the way that people just sort of call everything autistic now and maybe make jokes about it.
Yes.
It's not funny. Like the
Right,
movie
right.
Right.
is objectively fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
It
No, I
treats-
hear genuinely it's good. Like not like
it treats everything
meaning.
like really seriously except for the wanton murder that's in it. But like there's no like winky nonsense to it. It's just like a story about these people in this really heightened circumstance that fucking rips as an action movie.
Yeah. Major spoilers for number 1 if you've seen the trailer for number 2. But it's okay. Major spoilers though.
Yeah.
As I was watching number 1, I was like, oh, that's right.
yeah, that's
This
the
is like a-
reveal of the movie.
This is like a big reveal in this movie.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And it's just smack dab in the middle of the trailer for
that's
number
just
2.
how they're selling it.
It's true,
because it's
yeah.
a great idea. You sell that movie as a
Yes.
buddy
Yes.
buddy movie.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I'm there.
Yes.
Thursday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
I I watched for the first time last night in an effort to just finish these off and be done with it for maybe forever. I watched Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales,
All right.
and we're not going to talk about that anymore.
All right. Not here to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales.
I really wanted to like it because I
Yeah.
even like the
second?
That's
No,
that's
that's
the
the
last one
last
they
one.
made.
The one
Is
with
that
so the
Bardem?
with Bardem,
Fifth.
the fifth one, yeah, Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Are they doing a 6th one?
They are,
They should. They should just do 10. Fuck it.
dude.
Let's just get weird.
So we were at
With Johnny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Oh,
don't.
yeah, I
They
want-
owe Johnny all the
Yeah.
money.
yeah.
I want him like barely walking, and he's in the thing. Like,
Dude, we were at Disneyland yesterday, and there was a dude that was up like on the top Pirates of the Caribbean, like outside in the exterior in that little like level up there,
I've
and
seen-
it looked just like Johnny Depp 15 years ago. But people kept going like, "Is that fucking him?" They're like hitting people. Is
that
fucking
him?
Is that him? And I'm over here being like, "Have you seen him?
Yeah,
That's
no.
the
That's
magic.
not him."
It's the magic of movies, but at the same time, Madam, Johnny
Yeah.
Depp does not look
Yeah.
like that.
Do you know how much wine he's had? That's not him. He doesn't look like that anymore.
That man is a
Got
great.
He
a
is-
whole island of wine.
Bloated with wine.
Yes.
and expensive divorce.
Very expensive.
Ugh.
I want that fucking new Pirates movie with him in it. I do.
I do.
We'll see.
I want a ton. Why not? Fuck it. Let's
Keep going. Like
Bring
is there-
back Gore. Bring back Gore, and I'm in.
Bring back Gore.
Verbinski.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Al.
We did do him wrong, you know?
Yeah. Put him in the Pirates movie. Hey there, Jack Sparrow.
You guys didn't know you're going to get a good Al Gore impression.
Oh,
this
thank
episode,
you.
did
I think it's fine.
That was good.
Thank you.
And then 3 of the 4 of us, unfortunately, the 4th had to back out at the last minute because he's a bad friend. We all
I had to work. I had to earn my keep in this godforsaken city.
Well, okay. We went and watched David Cronenberg's new film, The Shrouds.
Yes, we did.
With David doing a Q&A after the film, which was, as Curtis has described in the past, being in the presence of that man and listening to him speak about the movies that he makes is just an absolutely magical experience that if you ever have an opportunity to do, you should absolutely make every effort to experience that. Some of us felt differently about the movie than others.
I maintain the second half of that in that what we got out of that Q&A from David Cronenberg was worth it, but I could not have been challenged more on that claim because it was the hands down worst Q&A experience I've ever had in my life.
It was, and weirdly moderated by. I mean, the moderator was truly just the worst moderator I've ever witnessed at doing a Q&A, which I've seen now more than I ever thought I would. And he was the writer director of Donnie Darko.
Richard Kelly.
Which
Ridley
is-
Scott.
Ridley Scott.
I have to assume that
Rudyard Kipling.
he from the grave. I have to assume that he just must have been like nervous and kind of maybe awestruck to be in the presence of David Cronenberg because like the questions he asked, the fact that David Cronenberg had to numerous times say was explained in the movie, but.
Yeah,
Yeesh.
the 82-year-old man really carried the room on his back.
It was like this man watched a 10-minute YouTube video about who David Cronenberg was before walking on this stage.
And you know that's not the case with this guy.
You
You
would assume.
would assume. You would assume. I will say, and this isn't spoiling anything. My favorite question that he asked, though, Austin, and for the listeners' benefit. So, without spoiling anything,
You could spoil. I'm not going to see this movie.
okay. There is
It's a good movie.
the technology is that basically loved ones can watch their dearly departed decay within the grave because the dearly departed is wearing what is called a shroud, and it's basically a death shroud but covered in cameras. And they look through either their application on their phone or like actually the grave headstone, and there's a little screen, and they could see their loved one decaying away, right? So the film opens, and it's Diane Kruger's decaying body and like the skeletal, right? And the moderator looked at David Cronenberg and went, "So, with Diane Kruger's skeleton at the beginning of the movie, is that her actual skeleton? Did you
Shut the fuck up.
Did you body scan
the
her
fuck
to
up.
like
Ask this
figure
question.
out
Shut the fuck
if did that make it actually her skeleton to
Did
like
no one
computer
laugh?
generate it? I don't.
I'd assume it's a
I
joke.
clocked like
It's so
4
dumb.
laughs. There was too much. People were too far up the ass of this Q&A
Yeah.
to like laugh at this question.
It was that, or we were all just like so anxious because at that time that wasn't like his first question. We weren't like
No, we were 10 minutes in.
we knew
15
what was
minutes in.
happening, and I think we were just all too scared to like stop this
Acknowledge
train.
how
you
insane
know?
that question is.
Yeah. So it was,
Is that her act? Yeah, we killed and skinned her.
yeah.
What the fuck are you saying?
Did you render that? Because they were. There's another. Diane Kruger also plays like an avatar, and even talking about like mocap stuff. But
So he's
somehow
wondering
the
if they
guy
s-
went from mocapping to be an avatar like a Siri thing.
Why would you
To-
scan a person to get their
Get
skeleton?
their skeleton.
I have a really good guess what it's going to look like. A skeleton.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
But like that. Yeah, that was what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
But I think we were all kind of maybe a little bit divisive on the film. I didn't think it was what I was hoping it would be, but I thought it was, especially after hearing David Cronenberg speak about it, it was really a compelling idea and a really interesting thing that I guess was supposed. This is cool to say. It was supposed to be a TV pilot.
Yeah.
Similar, and I'm not going to say that. Not going to say it was similar to.
you're gonna do that, aren't
Almost
you?
did it. Almost broke my own fucking rule.
saying what?
Nope. Shut the fuck up, Lucas. Shut the fuck up.
I genuinely want to know what he was going to say. I don't know.
I don't know why he's so mad
Not allowed
about
to
it.
go down
I
that
was
road. I guess.
screaming about it at after the film. I'm not gonna. We're not doing.
Oh,
we're moving on. Moving along. It was supposed to be a television pilot. It was going to explore different burial rites from different countries and cultures, and that's how the season was going to play out, along with the weird kind of thrillery conspiracy shit that was going on in the movie. The show did not pan out. Netflix did not want it, and he truncated it into a 2-hour film that
It was a
for
4-day film.
for me and Lucas and Sorrel felt like 4 to 5 days long.
Understood.
I hope you watch it.
Nope.
That was to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
You looked right at me.
Yeah, but you're here and you haven't seen it, so I looked at you, but it was to everybody.
I
And you're
see.
included in everybody.
I reject this.
Okay,
I like that. It's quite weird. It's quite strange. It's an ask though. So
big
that's it.
ask. Vincent Cassell though.
Vince Cassell rules. Dan Kruger rules.
Oh,
Guy
yep.
Pearce rules.
Guy Pearce is great.
Hey, all those people do rule.
Yeah. So it's a good movie.
It's well,
Cronenberg rules.
Cronenberg
rules.
And that's all I watched.
I have nothing.
That's nothing.
Nothing. Because I watched a movie to be like, aha, I'll have a movie for tomorrow. Nope.
Nope.
And then we bumped up our schedule, so I'm back to nothing.
That we did. Well, I only have one other film because another film is one that we bumped and are going to record next week. Just one other one. I watched The Addiction.
The Addiction.
Yeah. Because after
got
watching tonight's film, this has been on my list forever, and I was like, I need to do another vampire movie.
A-ball.
Abel Ferrara's
A-ball.
vampire art film from 1995 starring Lily Taylor, Christopher Walken.
Okay, yeah, I think I know this one.
Weird time. You definitely see where Joe Bigo's got some aesthetic for Bliss from this film.
Big
In a good way. Lily Taylor was just like, I'm not as familiar with her work in this like early high period of her career, but Jesus Christ, this forced me to then text Cody and be like, let's rank our vampires, which might be a thing that we do tonight. I'm not
Whoa,
sure.
maybe that's our mini.
Maybe it is.
Wait, was that after that?
That was after that.
Because that's right. Because you watched it the night that I watched.
Yes.
Yes. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, sure. But it's like, I mean, it's an art film, but it's like short enough and not like esoteric enough to like put you off in a weird way. There's a definite interesting vampire twist on it. Interesting twist on the vampire stuff. I liked it a lot. Fucking awesome movie. I haven't seen a lot of Ferrara's movies, and I need to watch more.
Watch that Body Snatchers remake.
I need to do that for sure.
Which one?
Just called Body Snatchers.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's Abel Ferrara's
I've seen
Body
that one.
Snatchers
I don't-
remake. It's so weird. Did you watch anything, Lucas?
No movies. I finished The Pit though, the Noah
Oh, yeah.
Wiley ER drama that came out on Max
I'll never
HBO.
know.
People love this shit. You like it?
It's if you were ever a fan of that old ER show.
I wasn't, and I'm not. But
Just what a great time.
good.
It's
Glad
for,
you
for
loved
the
it.
for the medical genre, just like top tier stuff.
Is it
So-
super accurate?
It tries to. I mean, it's so high level medical jargon because like 60% of the dialogue is like, I need 50 cc's of an EKB, and it's like it's all acronyms, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I guess you just don't want me to listen.
now I don't want to watch either.
You kind of start picking it up.
You become a doctor by the end.
Yeah. Well, but see, that's what I kind
I'll
of like
mail you
about
a little
this
piece of
stuff.
paper.
Yeah.
Is I feel like those, like The Good Doctor, House, those other network medical dramas, they did the mistake of making people feel like, oh, if I just watch this, I know how to diagnose crap.
Hell yeah.
You know, when the way this does medical jargon, it's like you were never going to be on the level of
I
these
love
people.
that. That's
Wait,
my favorite
well,
shit.
hold on.
Yeah.
I want to back up though because Austin said that if you watch it, you'll become a doctor.
Yes.
So I want to make this clear. If I
Yes.
watch the show,
Yes.
all of it,
You can practice medicine.
on you,
No. In Trinidad and Tobago. Not here, but legally you can do it in Trinidad and Tobago.
but I want to practice it on you.
if we go to Trinidad and or Tobago, we can.
Okay.
You got to watch The Pit first.
Yeah.
What about
You got to watch the pit, then you can work on my pit.
what about Nevada?
Is that in Trinidad and or Tobago?
No, I'm asking if we can add that to the list.
Is it always and, or sometimes we don't
I'm
talk
not
about
sure.
Tobago?
I don't know.
Is
Are there
Tobago
actually,
always
like,
part of it?
different islands?
Yeah, but
Or
I,
is it
it's
like-
always they're one thing. But I don't know if
Is it just like
I don't know.
a couple discovered the island and it's
I-
named after the couple?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm David Trinidad. This is my wife Denise Tobago.
I think in contracts I always see it like if it is specified. I think I always see it as both.
Yeah, they're always together.
Ampersand.
But I'm saying if I went to, if I only went to Trinidad,
I see. In other words, if you're listing everything out and you're saying like Denmark, Trinidad and Tobago,
Yeah.
the Caribbean, Caribbean islands, so on
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
forth,
yeah.
right? I see what you mean. I have no idea.
But if I say I'm going to Trinidad, do I have to include Tobago, even if my trip does not include Tobago?
I don't know. Look
Yeah.
for that semicolon.
What?
Grammatical. Never mind.
He's a doctor. That's when you have only part of a colon.
Oh.
He learned that. He
that's
learned that
medical.
watching the pit.
Hell yeah.
Medical jargon. A semicolon.
Do they do that at like a hospital? That's a hospital show.
I think it's a
Semicolon?
set.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
But
set.
yes, it's so, and also the show is structured. It's 13 episodes. Starts at 7 a.m. Every episode's an hour
Yeah.
inside this ER room.
What's the hospital called? Is it like a Saint something?
I feel like they keep calling the ER the Pit. Like it's called he calls it, Noah Wiley calls it the Pit.
Okay.
Pit?
And like
Saint the Pit?
director of the hospital's like, you need to stop calling it. It's
makes me
derogatory."
feel good.
What?
What?
The place that I might have to go for an emergency is just being called the Pit.
The Pit? I know. You're just
Makes
thrown
me
in
feel
there with
good.
all kinds
Yeah.
of riffraff.
Right.
ERs are a nightmare. They're just
Yeah.
full of
Takes
just
place
the
in
worst.
Pittsburgh. I think it's like Pittsburgh Medical Center or something like that. I don't know. I forget.
St. Pittsburgh Medical Center?
St. Pittsburgh.
Oh, the
Medical
Pit.
Center.
Did you guys hear that?
What?
Like rumbling around upstairs?
Actually,
This brings up another
God, I
question.
hope not.
This is going to sound like I'm saying something
I'm
insane.
throwing them at you.
Did either of you make a rubber chicken make a noise while I was upstairs before I came down?
Fucking excuse me.
What did you just say to us?
Okay, now I am going to go upstairs. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Make a
Make a-
rubber chicken make a noise?
Yes. I yelled up Cody when
I
you
heard
were,
that right.
Okay.
But shortly before that, I heard a rubber chicken go off. Not even kidding.
You have a clown ghost?
I heard a rubber chicken. Is this like the rubber chickens from the bachelor party stuff?
Are you going up there empty-handed?
The rubber chicken is a mystery. I have no idea what that was about. None of you made a chicken sound?
How does
buddy.
one make a chicken
I
sound?
don't fucking know. We were talking about chickens earlier.
We were.
Yeah, discern rubber chicken noise between chicken noise.
Yeah, how are they different? Could you give us examples with your mouth? Or not necessarily your mouth, but however you want to make it.
Did
Is-
one of us
is-
make that sound?
Is which one? That's the
Is
rubber or
which
the
one?
The rubber.
Okay.
The chicken.
Okay.
It's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen where they have those giant bins of them?
Yeah.
Rubber
People like
chickens?
just push them
Yeah.
all down. There's like 1,000 things screaming.
Do you guys know that game that people were playing on TikTok?
Or
where
you
it's
tape
like,
it on your feet?
Yeah, we did that to Quentin for his bachelor party.
Oh, fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
I watched that video. Some of you were cheating.
We weren't cheating.
Getting on your knees.
You are
and walking
absolutely
around.
cheating. That's cheating.
There's no rules.
there is rules.
No, there is rules.
Yeah, there is rules.
There are no rules to this game.
Have you seen the one where like, like sometimes you'll tape it where like they're both taped to the heel, but the best is when one's
Yeah.
taped to the heel and one's taped to the front. So you got to walk around like this, and so like if you forget which needs to be which way, it'll squeak. This guy's got a giant fucking stick.
I gave my friend who was blindfolded and drunk a blunt object while I was standing there with fucking chicken shit on chickens on my shoes. Of course I'm gonna duck when he goes to swing.
No, chicken. These aren't reasons to cheat, Cody.
Duck, goose?
I wasn't cheating. There's
can
no
duck.
rules. There's
You
no
can-
rules.
I
to
didn't
the game.
accuse
evade.
you of cheating. I remember watching that video and someone was like on their hands and knees trying to get around. Also on the outside boundary of what you've set up.
Yeah, that was Charlie.
Yeah, cheater.
Charlie did that. He
Cheater!
He cheated.
For sure
Right.
that's
He cheated.
cardinal cheating.
He did cheat.
The worst kind of cheating.
Cardinal cheating.
I hate cheaters.
Cheaters the worst.
Cheaters. Are the
Cheaters
worst.
never prosper.
Cheaters never
Pope
prosper.
died.
Neither do sinners.
Pope died.
Just snuck in. Pope died.
Pope died.
Did you guys see all those bits going around about why the Pope died?
Because J.D. Vance
Yeah.
visited him, and hours later he died.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like,
Pretty good.
This place is fucked. I'm gone.
JD stands for just killed the Pope.
Well, the rubber chicken saved you because we were setting you up real good before you left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there more to it?
Yeah,
well,
there's-
he was getting into the saint of the pit, and he was talking about the pit, and I was saying there's a bunch of bad people in the ER. We were about to just
Yeah, I was totally in on that
skewer
one.
you.
we were paving the road, buddy.
I don't
We
think
were-
that doesn't. That
we
sounds,
were paving that road.
that sounds base. To be
you,
honest,
you
so.
were oblivious.
We were setting the base. You're correct.
Now we have to get you because you've gotten arrogant about it.
You do fucking better, and maybe I won't be arrogant about it because I'll be humbled by doing a bad job at catching on.
We're getting him next
That's
time.
it. It's
We
happening.
did. I mean, we did get one.
Next time, are you
we
gonna?
kinda got one last
Oh,
time.
I
Yeah.
can't say what the movie is for next week.
Yeah. Next time, if we don't get you, I'm gonna hire someone to hide in your closet for 3 days and jump out at you when you're alone and feel very vulnerable. I'm gonna say wait till he's in a towel, and then you jump out and scream.
I love the idea that you think that would remotely be possible in this house.
You
Do
don't
think
know who I know.
If
You don't know who I know.
Do you think I don't check my closet every night before
for
I go to bed?
ninjas?
Yes.
For ninjas?
Yes.
He'll be in the closet. You won't see him. He's a ninja. I don't think you know what a ninja can do.
And if you see Cody running to the bathroom quickly, like maybe something's going to erupt from him, extra jump out.
Yeah, that is when you will hear.
That is when, forego the 3 days. You jump at that man. Guys, what are we watching? Nope. What are we talking about? Sinners! Oh, we skipped everything. We jumped the line.
But it fits with the theme.
We're bulldozing in a new theme.
We're bulldozing in a new theme. It fits in that theme. We'll talk about just the extent to which it does.
Yeah, we can still be cheeky with the theme.
Yeah.
We could just not say what the theme is. You figure it out.
We could do that.
You figure it out.
We could do that.
And it's not what you think it is.
Probably not.
Probably not.
We're going to shut this down.
We're going to shut down.
I'll go first.
I'll go third.
I'll go last.
I'll go second, I guess.
Sinners, brand new film. We are spoiling it all.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, why'd you click on this?
Yeah,
don't
turn it
listen
off.
from here on out.
Especially, you could just skip forward like 90 seconds.
But
we're gonna.
But we're still going to talk
but
about
hold
the
on,
movie.
hold on.
will.
To be clear, if you're just tuning in right now because you skipped all the other stuff, no, very spoiler heavy, but go back. Maybe listen to like all of the other stuff because then we could maybe still get a whole play, maybe some ads. That'd be cool.
Yeah, don't skip around too much. Just put it on when you're not home. Let your dog listen to it.
There you
do
go.
that. So we're gonna spoil Sinners, all of its plot, to the best of our ability. In 3, 2, 1.
Twin brothers Smoke and Stack return home to Tennessee after being in the war and working for Al Capone. They have dreams of opening a new juke and then in the town of Tennessee, they go around finding their friends who are going to help them open this place with getting food and acts. And one of the acts they're going to get is this guy named...
So they got booze, and then one of them goes to see his old ex-wife, and they have a dead kid together, and she does like dark arts stuff, and the other one's taking the little Robert Johnson around. I forget what they do, but anyway, they come back to the place. Meanwhile, they introduce a vampire.
The vampire's being chased by Choctaw vampire hunters, and he gets a couple Ku Klux Klan members to be vampires with him. They go and hear the kid singing, which elicits spirits of future and past. And then they're like, "Can we come in?" They're like, "No, you can't come in." And then Haley Steinfeld becomes a fucking vampire. And then the Stack becomes a vampire.
Eventually, the vampires all get in, and they start having a fucking giant shootout and shit. And they get them all out of the fucking barn, and the juke joint. The sun rises, and they start fucking killing all of them. And then the brother dies, but the last one stays up, and he fucking kicks out all the assassinations because the same people. They come back and kill him. Yeah! If you say Tennessee instead of Mississippi one more time, I'm gonna throttle your throat.
I don't know why I said Tennessee. I had a shirt that said Tennessee on today. I had it in my brain.
Next to it. Why?
Huh?
Why'd you have a shirt that said Tennessee?
My aunt went to Tennessee. She got me a cool barbecue.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
Shirt.
Cool barbecue
there.
shirt.
I mean, it's
Cat corner.
Mississippi. Well, no,
Yeah.
you get Mississippi. Tennessee's right here,
Yeah.
right above it. You know?
Cat corner.
Yeah.
Cool
fucked
barbecue
that
shirt.
Yeah. It has a cool pig on the front. It's a cool gym shirt to wear because everyone's like, fat pig. Sorry.
This is a brand new film. We've only sort of done this once before. We put a nope into a main discussion with the sadness, and we saw that. Mm-hmm. Feels, I think, appropriate that we're doing it again with this movie.
This is the one that's hit me hardest since then.
Absolutely true. This is Ryan Coogler's fifth film now, yes.
Wow.
And all with Michael B. Jordan. Mm-hmm. This is his first original thing. Everything else has been either true story,
Creed
franchise stuff.
Yeah, Fruitvale, Creed, the
The
Black
BBs.
Panthers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is his first time having his original thing out there. And
I like it.
guess what?
It doesn't suck.
He darn did good.
He created a fucking hell of a world and a hell of a story. I've seen this twice now.
Lucky bitch.
It's my favorite movie since Nope.
It rules so hard. I've only seen it once, and we were talking before. It almost feels weird to do this, only having seen it once, because it feels like a movie I need to see through like 3 times to fully get. Because it's just like this fucking freight train of stuff. Like, and it's so much. Like the whole first half of the movie, or whatever part of the movie, is like this thing, and then like once we get to the like surreal. The scene where all the people from all the generations are dancing around, like then it just becomes this whole other thing.
Bootsy Collins.
Yeah,
Bootsy
then it just becomes
Collins.
this whole other thing, and it's like, whoa!
And I wanted to live in every moment.
Oh yeah,
Every scene up and I didn't. If it is a slow burn, great because I wanted it to be slower.
yeah.
Look,
I mean, just
that
like on
first-
paper, it's like, look, we got 30s gangsters,
Yeah.
we got like the Delta South, we got a bunch of blues. Also vampires?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's going to kill Klansmen? Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's so many things that we know and we've seen wrapped up into one thing, but it's still not like any of those things. It's still it's like you could pull out like Django Unchained. There's the
Magnificent
Thing,
Seven.
Magnificent Seven.
Samurai.
Most of John Carpenter's movies are in
Yeah.
this, like fucking From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just so much still its own thing.
Yeah.
Besides that it feels like a wholly new. Like you can't even pin it down to one genre and subgenre. And Ryan Coogler, I've been listening to every interview he's been doing about this. He said that, he has a problem with genre in that, why should one thing just be one or even two things? But like also he was researching kind of, how genre came to be, and it comes essentially through racism, like the music industry is older than the film industry, and music industry used to be, is it a colored record or is it, like a pop album, basically. Like the same song be covered by a white guy and be
Colored or not.
Yeah. And so it's like that's how kind of genre sort of started in popular music. So like
Interesting. So then it just carried over into movies.
so this is just so many different things, and God, where do we even start? Do we just want to talk about music for a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like throughout the entire thing, I'm just like, this music rips so hard. The score rips so hard. And of course, I see Ludwig's name at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there you go.
Who went to film school with Coogler, so they've been buddies since the beginning.
Yeah, they've
And
been-
he's
Oh, that's
done all,
cool.
He's done all his
Yeah.
movies.
He's done all.
Oh, that's cool. I
his-
didn't know
yeah.
that.
and Ludwig's
That's neat.
he's won an Oscar for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's phenomenally talented, and he knocks it out of the park multiple times. I'm just sitting in the theater, just like grooving, like
Yeah.
this fucking rips, dude. I love that, like Delta blues thing,
Yeah.
so much. God, I love that music, and it's just done beautifully and perfectly. And then the scene. I mean, we're gonna talk about the scene a lot, but when we're going around the dance floor, and we're like interjecting all the like the hip hop beats and all the different genres, but it's
Yeah.
still like this cohesive thing.
Well, and
It's-
what I love so much about that is that it's just shining so much light, and they do this throughout the movie, right? Where it's just the interconnectivity of music and art and folklore, like really poignantly, and the way that they created that atmosphere in that moment, and the way that it weaves and grows and builds from being one kind of style of music and then becomes a completely different thing while still maintaining that basis of it at the end. It's just
what a
brilliant, incredible.
mountain of a task to have to like incorporate elements of all these different genres and make it sound cohesive and make it work. Is
and like the timing of it all.
Yeah.
Like, God,
Yeah.
what an incredible sequence that was. And like
Yeah.
such a great way to sort of like encapsulate that thing that you're trying to convey of
Yeah.
like this like transcendent moment where like everything is happening all at once together.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
we were talking a bit earlier about how we don't think this movie's spoilable in a way, in that the experience is so singular. Like you could tell someone what happens in every frame of this, but I think it's so powerful to watch unfold that it's like, how can we spoil that?
Yeah.
And like in this, we're talking about it. That sequence in particular is just like, that's the type of shit that like, it's why I'm alive. I think it's why I'm still here. It's this is why I continue to draw breath. I ascended, and I don't think I ever came back.
And that moment in particular, I think it and they talk about it throughout the film, particularly specifically or most pointedly, I guess, in the intro when they're talking about when you playing music and how it has the ability to channel and tap into spirits, right? There's I think the reason that for the most part music has always resonated with me so deeply is because, and I think that I'm getting to the point of this, I listen to certain kinds of music and I feel like that moment where your whole body feels like it's got electricity running through it, right? They tap into that moment so perfectly with that, right? And I'd never seen anything like that. It felt so moving. Almost brought me to tears, right? Just brilliant the way that he was able to capture that.
One of the more intimate music moments in this movie that I think was the first time I got brought to tears was Miles Catton and Michael B. Jordan driving, and he makes him pick up the guitar and start playing. And the look on Michael B. Jordan's face when he realizes, like, oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, ah!
It's great.
Yeah,
It's
this
such a
so good.
It's such a good moment.
that's a great combination of that power of music stuff and also this like world of characters that Coogler's always able to create. Like he in Jess said this to me after, and she's like, this might be a fucking banal thing to say, but she's like, why do we let white people tell black stories? Like, ever, you know? Because
Right,
this
right.
is such a black story. Like, and it's in the roots of the blood of humans, a black story. But, like, it's never feeling like, it's never treacly, you know? It's never like, because, and in good movies, black people are often used as tokens, as fucking plot devices, as things that like we recognize. It might be a good performance, it might be a good plot device, but like that moment in the car of like that love between those characters about this culture felt like the most real emotional thing I've seen in a movie, and
all the
I don't know how
emotions that
many
hit
years?
to from that character, where it's like a real, the excitement is like, I am so proud of my little cousin.
Yeah.
This song rips, but also like I'm about to make a lot of money.
we're gonna fucking
You
make
know?
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
This club's gonna rip.
Yeah, that greed
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And then it's an obvious metaphor, but it's a fucking great metaphor. But making a literal vampire, the white guy who's like, that thing's great. I'm gonna take that.
Well, but
There's
that's
a-
great.
well, but
that is great.
I think
There's an interesting wrinkle on that, I think, too.
yeah, he's Irish.
Okay.
In that his Irish folk music and the black blues of the Delta, especially, was what became American rock and roll ostensibly. So it's like these two things, like he is white, and the color thing is hugely important. But like these two things in particular, like these are stolen cultural items.
Well, and even more so, right? Because like they acknowledge it, like the black people in the movie acknowledge the love of Irish folk songs, right? But then I think more pointedly, and you said it yourself in a text message you sent me, where the white people in the movie, the only white person in the movie that doesn't necessarily suck is this Irish vampire.
Yeah.
And all of the other white people in the movie are just U.S. whites that suck.
And mostly
right?
KKK members.
Yeah. Oh, I think besides Haley Steinfeld, entirely KKK members.
Except for we do get a glimpse of the other side of the street, and another great scene where we realize that the Bo and the Chinese family, Chinese American family, they run shops on two sides of the street, one being
Yeah.
a black side, one being a white side.
Yeah.
It's like we get glimpses of white people there.
Sure,
there's no
that's
characters
true.
there.
That's true. That's
Right.
good.
But that's just peppering. It's like every other
Yeah, when they're in
white
Clarksdale.
person that shows up on screen is a KKK member, basically.
And like I also loved just to make him a more interesting and compelling character, the bad guy, the vampire. He's not wrong when he's like, "Look,
Buddy.
you joined me. You escape racism.
Well, I think
You're not." It's like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not
Not
wrong.
wrong,
That's an interesting offer.
Uh-huh.
It's great.
it is pretty interesting. But I think just to quickly wrap up the thought was that because the Irish were persecuted so heavily, it was really interesting to me that, and I didn't actually clock it until you said it in that text message. But the fact that it's like the only white guy that you can really sympathize with in any way in that movie is this white vampire that was an Irishman that was persecuted.
Because like
Still a vampire,
that's at the root. Like, and
Still
I
wants
think
to eat 'em.
I think a question that the movie asks is what is evil a lot.
Yep.
And like vampirism is evil, but we all have a little bit of evil in us sometimes.
Of course.
And when you meet the Jack O'Connell character, Remick, who I think he fucking just nails that performance.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and he gives his spiel. He's like, "Yeah, look, I am killing you, but like you just said, you get love and fellowship. You're gonna have that with us forever. We're gonna go and kill these KKK members tomorrow. Like that's our next stop. You're like, well, that's kind of fucking appealing.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Like there is this inherent evil that we just have to like deal with, but we're having a good time out here. And I just talk about the vampires of it is like that's some of the most intriguing vampire shit I've seen.
Oh, totally.
And I don't know how long. Probably since Near Dark, TBH.
Right.
I love that shit.
I love that shit so much.
And then
And God, he looked cool as hell too. Did your theater scream when he
Yes!
levitated? Yeah.
Yeah.
so
So
the
whole
second theater
theater
especially.
screamed.
My first theater didn't really, but the second one was like, the second he jumped, levitated, it
Yeah.
was like, oh, I
Yeah,
was like,
everyone's
all
like,
right.
so when I encountered a situation that I did not know how to handle
Yes.
in my theater.
Chicken jockey.
No, the person
He levitated.
that'd have
and
been
it was
easier.
like, chicken jockey.
No, the person that was sitting next to me. She never took her phone out. She never spoke out of turn. She never had a conversation with her boyfriend. But she exclaimed anytime anything happened.
That's the worst. 'Cause
So-
what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Stop reacting.
Yeah, don't react to the
Stop
film.
enjoying
So,
this.
for instance, like when he flew for the first time, she was like, "Oh shit, he's flying!"
Oh,
right?
no.
But it was like, then she stopped talking, and it was like,
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, right? And then, oh fuck, right? That would happen throughout, like as if we were just like watching a movie on
Yeah.
the couch. Right?
Yeah.
But it's like, what are you gonna?
I know that's the worst.
That was so hard.
That's
It's
such
like
a gray area.
because my rule is right. If you want to exclaim in the movie,
Yeah.
exclaim. I'm not going to tell you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're in a movie theater,
Have
right?
fun, enjoy it.
I sure as shit caused a ruckus several times during this thing. The moment that they said Charlie Patton's name, I was like, "Oh, I know what you're doing."
Yeah.
I immediately exclaimed. Towards the end, when he started killing Ku Klux Klan members, I erupted.
Dude.
I started a crowd roar when because it was like, this is important. Why is nobody cheering? He's killing racists.
He's killing
on
the
the
Klan.
screen. Just mutilating them.
giant
Everybody's
machine gun.
awesome. fucking clap and shit. Scream.
Look at his arms.
But right before that, look at his arms. We'll get into that.
Jesus God.
But right before that, just throughout the film, like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like anytime like somebody was about to die, and you go, oh no. But out loud, and I was like, I have to.
What if that was that person's first movie ever?
It felt like I was watching, but that was what's so beautiful
Surprised
about it in
they
a way
didn't
too,
have a
because it
heart
was like,
attack.
are you like, because you're so into this, you're
Yeah.
into it just as into it as I am.
Yeah.
I wish you'd shut the fuck up, but
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. Did you guys have any? It sounds like you guys had good theaters.
Great
all
theater.
around?
It was actually shockingly quiet and respectful and engaged. Although I
Yeah.
did hear a woman when we were leaving, I heard some woman say to her friend, like, "Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a horror movie. It's like a thriller, I guess." And in my head, I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
I actually.
They're vampires."
The first thing I said to Lucas when he got in the car was like, "It's hardly a horror movie. It's hardly a vampire movie."
Is the
Because it's
Devils a
everything.
horror
It's so
movie?
many things at one
Shut
time.
the fuck up, Austin. Huh?
Because it's so many
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
at one time.
Yeah.
And
if we're talking about screen time and that being important with how you classify a movie, sure, absolutely. Like
Yeah, right.
so much of the movie goes by without nary a vampire
To be
around.
seen, yeah.
There's horror happening.
There's all kinds of horrors happening. But I got this idea from another show I listened to. It was great thought. This is not an elevated horror movie. You know, this isn't one of those. So like the conversation of, I don't think it's a horror, it's a thriller. It's like, well, I mean, this is a B movie. When it does its horror shit, it's
Yeah.
just like stakes
Yeah.
in the heart, blood gushing
It's-
out, people are on fire.
It's dusk till dawn.
Yeah,
from there.
And
yeah.
100%.
rules.
Yeah.
Yes.
That shit rules.
Guitar in the face and the
That's
teeth.
a good
and,
point.
like,
I guess maybe people haven't been exposed to enough just like
Schlock.
straight schlocky horror stuff where they're like, but why isn't it about Trump?
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
fucking while.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
an
that.
interesting point.
It is.
Yeah, why isn't this an exploration on grief?
Yeah, none of that. Like it's an exploration on
Why?
lost love, missed opportunities. I mean, there's grief with Smoke's baby
Yeah,
being
the
dead.
baby, yeah. But it's not like a.
I actually think it's pretty elevated, but I don't think it's like elevated in the same way that like we look at like like Midsommar, right?
Yeah,
Where
or
it's like just
Hereditary
pure
or
hereditary
whatever.
or purely elevated. But
Yeah.
this movie felt very elevated.
It's
to me.
elevated because it's like he was saying, he's pushing genre as a thing altogether.
Even more so, the themes that he's discussing, I think are like
Agreed.
very ingrained in this.
I think more in terms of the actual horror, the actual vampirism.
I see.
It's
What you're
very
saying. I
like
see what you're saying. Got
easy
it, okay.
classic schlocky.
Got it. Okay.
Not like
Sure. Yeah,
But,
the vampires don't represent.
yeah, but like the theme.
There was
of the
there was
movie.
absolutely vampires representing stuff, but like this is blood dripping, drooling, finger clawed, neck ripping.
What do you think?
Gore.
What do you think the
Blood
vampires
spray.
represent?
You could say that they're part of the
It's
vampiric
interesting.
American system
Yeah.
of stealing
Sure.
cultures.
That's kind of that was
It's
my
there.
core thing. Is like the vampires a great allegory for like how pop culture, white culture has stolen so much black
Yeah,
culture,
even
and
it-
black music throughout the
And
years.
even at one point in the movie, the guy said, I forget which smoker stack or I think it's smoker stack, but they say, the white folk love our music, but they don't like us, or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
exactly what the line is, but it's so the vampire thing as a metaphor is becomes so complicated because that guy's Irish.
Yeah.
And because the movie is like clearly down to the beginning of the film blends the concepts of like, you know, in I think they said in Gaelic folklore and then in West African traditional
And in
folklore.
Choctaw.
Right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They said specifically those three things.
Yeah.
It makes it so interesting. So like it makes the vampire part of this even more complicated in a way.
Well,
I don't know, man. I think it's pretty elevated.
It does. Where it was got
The presentation
complicated-
of the horror is all I'm talking about. The
We're just
presentation of
talking
the
about
horror
the-
is not like elevated horror. We're not talking about.
Yeah, but even still, I think the vampire stuff, like, you know, when we talk about it like that,
Yeah.
it's
Well, I think you could do that to From Dusk Till Dawn. I think you can do it from to Near Dark if you wanted to like pull it apart, you know, piece by piece. a
Right,
little
and I
bit.
think him being Irish, I do agree. It's very interesting. I didn't really put that together, but I think it's more. What I'm saying is more just the idea of a vampire, and I think it is intentional that they talk about Irish and they talk about Choctaw Native Americans. It's just vampires live off of something else, right?
Sure,
and it's
yeah.
just throughout all of America, especially American history and European history, human history. There's always been more dominant cultures just stealing things they like from less and then giving them nothing in return.
I agree. I think I must be misunderstanding your point. But
I think
move on.
we're all saying the same. I think we're all
No
on the same
fight.
page.
So I had
Knife.
originally, before I realized he was Irish and we were doing Irish stuff, I had thought they were doing some kind of like head flip on the music stuff, where the music that they were playing inside the club, like that was the music of freedom. That was what represented freedom and stuff. And the vampires playing that folky Irish stuff now is the devil's music. Whereas like that stuff was always described as the devil's music before blues and all that stuff. Now the other stuff is being described as devil's music in the movie. And I was like, oh, are we doing that? But then
No, yeah, and to your point, like when the trailers first came out, I was like, oh, I see. That one motherfucker is going to be Leonard Chess,
Sure.
walking around stealing music from
Yeah.
people, right, and giving people a fucking ride.
That-
Not at all what the case was.
That's a version of a
Yeah.
movie that could exist
I-
and maybe be good, but you're like, this is somehow so much more interesting.
I
definitely
think it's far more interesting. Far more interesting.
Yeah, and then we get to the Irish jig. We get to the fucking Rocky Road to Dublin.
On the rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's like we got one. We got the fucking the phantasmagoric surreal in the barn musical bit, and I was like, I'm in heaven. And then we get the Irish vampire answer to that, and I'm like, I don't think I'm molecules now. How fucking awesome is that? And like it just
so great.
and to where you could like say like how much this is or isn't a musical is like that gets across so much character and thematic import while still just being a fucking rip-roaring little set piece that I'm just like, this is inherent to the film. You can see someone wanting to cut this fucking thing. You can feel someone be like, do we need the second like Irish jig number with all the people? And you're like, yes, we fucking do.
Yeah.
I loved it so fucking much.
Well, I think even more so because I think having that in there and both those moments reinforces like what I think Coogler was doing with the notion of shared experience through folklore and the means in which folklore translates to the tradition of passing music through to one another, right? You're listening to that's a traditional song at this point, right? And to have that in there and having that weaved and not even it's like I can't even call it juxtaposing what's going on in the juke joint. It's
Right, it's
almost
the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just two sides of it. It's very, very, very fascinating.
And there is something to be said. I've not thought about this, so please tell me what you guys think. There's something to be said about the way vampirism works in this movie. Once he turns people, and then once I'm assuming the others turn each other, they all share the same histories.
Hive mind
They
thing,
understand. They know everything now. They so much so that those other first two people he turns can now play this song, these music with this guy. And there's something to be said about that scene where he's doing the jig, and now it's everybody who was just at the juke joint, mostly black people, dancing around with the Irish jig stuff. I'm interested in how we read that.
I think it again it roots into it's like the what's the absolute zero of tradition, right? Where does everything come from? Does it all come from the same place? Does it not, right? And I think that there's two ways of looking at this, and I think on the one hand, I saw two readings of that idea, the concept that just as I described, everything is from absolute zero. So giving everybody the knowledge, it's kind of shining a light on the notion of that's how folklore works, right? Folk traditions. The other version of this that I think, the other reading of it that I had that I think is so fascinating when you're and compelling when you're talking about a movie that is so obsessed with blues and the history of black music in America and the history of shared traditions between black musicians in America and the history of black folklore when it comes to the way that that's weaved into blues music in America and folk blues music in America is the notion of forbidden knowledge and the idea of not wanting to be a vampire. And in other words, the guy says that idea we were talking about earlier, the guy says you can be a vampire, we can just beat racism, right? Mm-hmm. But at what cost, right? So similar, right? You have the legends of people going down to the crossroads to sell their soul to the devil to become the greatest guitar player ever. Now you know the idea being that like he knows all of music, right? He knows how to make it all go at once. Or you could be the guy in the juke joint that doesn't have all of the knowledge but still rips and roars, right? It's interesting. I think I lean more towards the first reading I described, but I think the second one is compelling.
I think they can both exist, too.
I think they can.
Yeah, it's awesome. Also, I learned that that Clarksdale is where Robert Johnson went.
Oh, is it?
He's baiting me.
I'm doing a little bait.
When he texted me because he was like, this movie seems like it was so much your shit, and then he's like, today I read that like Robert Johnson was where like Clarksdale was where Robert Johnson went, and then I went, well, maybe.
I was like, that's the most Cody response I've ever seen.
It's hard. It's so hard for me because
sure.
like I was raised by a person who, for all intents and purposes, is a blues music historian.
Yeah.
The guy wrote. My dad wrote liner notes for years for all of the. He was the person that was largely in charge of reviving blues musicians' catalogs to be distributed. Because they had been long gone, they were lost, they were just in vaults and places.
Wow.
No one was distributing them. So he got these labels to start like, no, put this back out into the world. And they're like, well, who's gonna fucking work on it? Like, we don't want to deal with this. He's like, okay, I'll do it. I know all the history anyway. So he wrote all the liner notes. So for years, if you bought a CD by a multitude of blues musicians that was like a re-release of something from like the 40s to 60s or something, it would have my dad's name as the person that wrote the liner notes.
Amazing.
So yeah, when I hear yes, there's this part of me that's like, but on that, I think that makes this movie even more interesting because when the character, when Sonny shows up, right? What's his name? The cousin, the little cousin, Sammy. Mm-hmm. When Sammy shows up, I was like, okay, and when they saw Clarksdale, because Clarksdale was a hub for so many blues musicians, but particularly legendary ones. And I think the one that's tied mostly to Robert Johnson is the notion that that's where Son House spent a lot of time just around and the outskirts of Clarksdale when he was basically in exile. And lots of people suggest that Son House was the person that taught Robert Johnson how to play music, but then Robert Johnson went and sold his soul to the devil. Again, it's myth, but I think that ties. I actually wrote some notes on this. Because I just think it's so compelling. But I was sitting there as it was starting and going, okay, are they going to make him? Is he going to be someone, right? Or is this supposed to be any number of people that came out of the Clarksdale area? Is it going to be Muddy Waters, right? I was like, that's maybe a little too early, just a little too early for Muddy Waters. Mm-hmm. But I was like, okay. And then they said it's Charlie Patton's guitar, right? And I was like, oh, that's cool, right? But then. This is what I'm getting at. The fact that it wasn't Charlie Patton's guitar, right? And it was a myth, right? Mm-hmm. Because so much of that history and that tradition is shared stories that have become myths, and they're not real. Whether or not they're real is it doesn't really matter because there's not anybody alive today that can confirm or deny where Robert Johnson's buried. Whether or not he spent time in any location, nobody even knows for sure that the pictures of him are real. So the fact that Ryan Coogler was able to weave that mystery and esoteria into this film and to do it in a way that makes it feel like it's part of the film's fabric without referencing the name Robert Johnson is just that's a fucking magic trick.
And I think he grounds it with the Smokestack Twins a bit because there's a myth following them around too. People are like, you guys were working with Capone in Chicago. They never fucking say that. Nope. They went to Chicago and did some shit, but they're never like, yeah, we were with Capone, blah, 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 blah. I think it's very clear. It's never said, but I think it's pretty clear that they stole that fucking truck of booze and brought it down.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't know. They could have never ran across Al Capone. No fucking idea. But this is the myth that's built around these guys at this point. So, like, they're carrying that thing around with them too.
Yeah.
So there's the music stuff, and then there's the myth of smoke and stack. Like,
and then it's tied up all with a nice little bow at the end where Sonny's lived. Sonny? Sammy. I did it twice now.
Preacher Boy.
I keep thinking because in my head I'm like it's gonna be Sunhouse. It's gonna be fucking Sunhouse.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I keep at the end of the film. It's all wrapped up so nicely with incidentally when that stupid fucking polka dotted tie came on screen. I was like, that's fucking Buddy Guy. He's older than Sin. I was like, but that is fucking Buddy Guy. I haven't seen a picture of him in years, but that is absolutely Buddy Guy.
They did show his name before he shows up.
They showed Buddy.
In the credits?
No. Right before that, before the credits, and they show his name. He's on the screen, right?
Got it.
Okay.
But the fact that he's lived all this time, right, and he's lived with this secret history of a crazy thing that happened, right? That confirming how could you tell that story to somebody and have you'd get some people that are enthralled and some people that laugh their ass off. Point being, like this, it so interestingly mirrors the way that some of these myths and stories get perpetuated over the years, and then the fact that at the end he's just sitting there and those two walk in. It's just, I love that.
It's beautiful.
It's so fucking
love
cool.
that last scene.
So might as
so
well
much.
just skip to the end of that. Like, how did we feel when fucking Stack and Mary walk into that goddamn bar? Were you expecting that?
No, not
No.
at all. I
No.
assumed
Zero.
they died.
No.
Was very
Yeah.
happy to see them. Like, this
And-
rules. This
And
rules so hard.
It rules so hard and speaks to the talent and ability of Coogler et al. All the cast, everyone who fucking had input on this. It's like that mid credits could have been, it feels like an epilogue to the movie more so than a mid credits. But it's like, it could have been these two show up and it's like knowing wink, bloodshed, or like, and then cut to black or something. But no, they have a fucking meaningful interaction where they're like, I missed you. I agree. This is what happened. I agreed to not, I agreed to my brother who saved me that I would never come after you. And then it's like, what'd you think about that day? Like, they just like reminisce on that day for a minute. And it's like so fucking sweet. And then he plays the song for him. And you could tell these two fucking vampires.
Yeah.
These two goddamn vampires who have probably been doing awful shit for 70 years.
Dressed like it's 92.
Dressed like it's so 1992.
so good.
God damn.
So good.
But they're like tearing up at this song and reliving that day. You're like, this is the best vampire shit I've ever seen on film.
But then
so
right
good.
after that, when he says that moment of like, did you guys feel like it was the best day you'd ever had? Just like what I was talking about earlier, like the way that music has always done this to me more so than film does, but my whole body just goose pimples throughout the whole. I'm getting that electricity feel right now thinking about that.
And then when he answers yes, he's like, last day I saw my brother, last day I saw the sun. I was like, fuck, this is cool.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck, this is cool.
Yeah, I
Great. It's so much better than any sort of like knowing like how we're gonna eat you.
Yeah.
They're just like they just had a nice little moment, and it's like, all right, good to see you.
Yeah.
And
It's
they're like,
oh, this is great.
they gave him the opportunity, like, hey, you're about to sniff some.
Yeah,
He's
it's like,
you don't
you're
got
gonna-
much time left.
Yeah.
And it's like, we could end that. Like, you could live on and, no pain, all that shit.
quite frankly, I'm surprised Buddy Guy's still on this earth.
How old is he?
He's pretty old. I think he's in his 80s for sure. I saw him play.
That's a good face.
a great face.
You just went,
20 years ago.
Yeah.
More.
yeah.
And he looked pretty old as fuck at that point too, but still rocking around with there's like a 200-foot guitar cable.
Really?
Yeah, he's a showman. He walks around with this 200-foot guitar cable. His guitar's polka dotted and shit. He's wearing like a polka dot suit.
Fantastic.
Right? He broke a string and made it this whole like, I broke a string. And he took all of his time to like take it off and like unwind it and then hand it to someone in the crowd. But like, yeah, I'm surprised he's still alive.
Yeah.
So great. There was only one scene in the movie I didn't like, and I've since changed my mind, and now I like it. It's the scene when we first get introduced to the vampire, and he runs up on the house and like talks his way in. When I first watched it, I was like, it'd be so much cooler if like basically I was like trying to hide the vampire reveal. Because if you remove that scene and the first time we meet them is when they walk up, you still don't know it's a vampire movie for like a while. I'm like, that'd be a cool reveal, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I like that scene because then I also only bummer about the movie is we don't get the Choctaw
Yeah!
vampire hunters back because
We
that
don't know.
shit ruled, and I wanted a lot more of them. But
I
then
know.
on retrospect, I'm like, wait, if we lose the Choctaw vampire hunters, I can't have that. Absolutely keep this scene. Those guys fucking rule.
I'm hoping we get a sequel that's that.
I want. If there's
Yeah.
a spinoff, that's all I want. I just want
Yeah.
it's them hunting vampires. That's the coolest shit ever.
And just a little shameless. We haven't talked about this yet, plug. So I'm gonna put it in there, dear listeners. If you have not read a book recently
I thought of
and
that
you need a book to read,
immediately.
you should read the book Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. It'll
I
give
thought
you
of
that
that
little a little
immediately.
taste of what Austin's talking about.
God, it's so
but in the
fucking cool.
coolest way. I think there is only one moment in this film that just completely took me out of it. And actually, it is the only thing that I can't stop thinking about the fact that it turned me off so much. Which I know that because you told me that it was a fleeting thought for you. You didn't even think about it again. But
Yeah.
the moment where they start explaining vampires on that screen and talking about we need steaks, we need holy water and garlic, we need all this stuff. I was like, we don't need this part. We don't need this part.
Some people.
I'd
do.
be interested in see what you think on a rewatch. One, because at first I did bump on that too, and was like, oh, because I knew what we needed. I knew what we were like. I was for the first time a little bit ahead of the movie, or at least along with it, because we were like, we know how vampires work, but obviously the characters don't. They need to know what they're up against. I see why it's valuable, but yeah, when on the second watch, it's like it's like 30 seconds, and it's also like a tool up segment. I love a good tool up segment. Where you
What
get-
segment?
Love a tool up segment.
Where you get people like sharpening
Like
steaks.
picking stuff from the armory kind of thing.
I think, in other words, what I'm getting at is that I think that scene could have been just as compelling without the dialogue. Have all the stuff where they're preparing, getting ready, but explaining what we need. I don't think that didn't do it for me.
I didn't even
the same shit
register.
happened to me in Abigail, where they're talking about all the stuff that they need to get.
But you have to assume people watching don't know what the vampire rules are.
Okay, but
Someone
I
doesn't.
think
that. I mean,
Someone
I
doesn't.
feel like that was the whole role of the witch, just so there was someone inside there that knew what was going
Yeah.
on. Otherwise, they just get run over.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm
You
not.
know?
I'm not saying take the concept out altogether. I'm just saying make it sound for me a moment that felt so like you're locked in, and now it feels like a cartoon for a second, and I didn't like
Okay.
that.
I have a question. I don't know if I got a weird screening or whatever, but there were a couple shots that were noticeably darker than the rest of the movie.
I clocked those. It
Okay.
got grainy and dark
It got
for like a second.
really grainy and dark for a cut when he's in the market. Just a couple. It felt really random too. It was just they were super dark and grainy, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then we went back, and it wasn't. And I was like, "Was it a fuck up? What's going on here?"
I clocked that too.
This is the only time it happened.
Not entirely sure. I did notice there was one. I think when they're talking to Cornbread, when he's a vampire outside, and they're like, "No, you can't come in. What the fuck's going on with you?" There's a couple reverse shots where I did notice that as well.
Oh, I see. I didn't clock it there.
And
I clocked it where you're talking
yeah,
about.
and I'm just
Oh.
was kind of assuming they're intentionally shooting this super fucking dark. That's just the amount of light that's getting through the film. Grained at that
I mean,
point.
but the shots I noticed it were daylight shots.
Yeah, maybe
I
it
was
just
like,
didn't.
this is weird. I mean, it's
exposed
If
weird
you're
or-
using film, it's going to be weird. But
Yeah,
I was just curious. I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know if my thing was fucked up or not.
I
But
don't think it's
sounds
fucked
like it
up.
wasn't.
Yeah,
I want to squiz over Michael B. Jordan for a
do it.
second.
Let's do it,
dude,
Because his
Let's fucking do
performance
it.
in a history of movies that have actors playing twins, this might be the best one.
well,
I-
except for twins.
I concede.
It's in the title.
I concede.
To be fair.
I concede.
You're right. You're right.
Because there's a movie called Legend with Tom Hardy where he's
Oh.
doing almost the same thing. It's almost the same brothers, but both of them are even farther apart on the spectrum to where they might not even be brothers. It's just like Tom Hardy being neurodivergent and weird, and Tom Hardy being a smooth talking gangster, like both ends of this thing. And this movie made it feel like he's doing two different things, but these are brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Like to where when one of them died, I was devastated.
I was too.
Like
I'm
when
like,
it
I want both of
turned-
you here.
Because for a twin to die is such a devastating thing because they're always together, and also the time I really clocked how good he was doing, how good a job he was doing was when at the end when he's a vampire and they're fighting each other. Halfway through that scene, I'm like, wait, that's the same actor. They're like, how are they shooting?
I have the
this?
same fucking thought,
And
dude.
then I was like, wow, I was so invested that these are
Locked
two
in.
different characters.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about, wow, how are
And
they
it's-
shooting this?
And like you said, Lucas, it's not like diametrically opposed characters. Like they're very similar, you know, in just like in brotherly ways. They're just shades different here and there, but they're strong enough choices that
It's distinct.
that it's like just such masterful fucking acting.
Kaylin talked a little too long after about how attractive he is, and she was like, what would you have to do to get a body like that? And I was like, just lift really heavy and eat a lot of chicken. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like,
So you do
I was
know.
like, yeah, yeah. And I was like, well, why? You trying to tell me to have that body? She's like, I mean, if you looked like that, I wouldn't be upset about it. And I was like, well, that's fucked up that you can just say that. But if I say I want you to get big fake titties and a fake ass, somehow I'm a monster. But we can walk out of the movie. And she's like, you can say anyway. But yeah, he's so gorgeous.
Somehow I'm a pig.
Yeah, but you can say, well, why don't you look like Michael B. Jordan? Like, I don't know, because I'm not been kissed by Adonis like him. I don't have the kisses of gods in my genes.
That man in that
Oh,
movie is.
my God.
I mean, fuck, dude.
He's perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect, beautiful man.
The amount of reviews that I've seen on Letterboxd that like start with Michael B. Jordan's biceps.
They're
Uh-huh.
they're incredible. They're
and also
incredible.
like a twin movie, you're looking immediately for like, okay, how are they shooting this?
Yeah.
Within the first scene they get out of the car together, I'm like, oh, I can't even tell.
No.
Yeah.
They're doing it because in that other movie with Tom Hardy, they're doing the tricky camera work stuff
Yeah.
where it's like behind the head, clearly
Yeah.
different guy. But this one just
He
seamless.
lights his cigarette?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude.
that's a good
There you
trick.
go.
It's a little bit of a trick. I was a little bit like, okay, I get it, but
Yeah.
that's really good.
No, when I thought the same thing, but that's to me it was almost cool because he was showing off.
Yeah,
right?
it was
And
total
it's
show off.
Very
absolutely.
cool.
It's like, this is what we're doing. You're in now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This
look-
is how I'm fucking
yeah.
doing it.
Look how good at
And
this
then
we are.
Broad daylight. Yeah.
drops his mic. Yeah.
And along with that, I kind of want to bring up a thing that was in the trailer that I always just kind of bumped on as like a weird pacing of a scene that happened in the trailer. But in the movie, both times I saw it, I was like, this is incredible. And it's so minor and whatever. But it's when they're showing Sammy the truck that they stole. And they're like, fuck, because the white guy fucked us up. We got to split up and do the rest of our day. This interaction happens in the trailer. He's like, you be safe. I love you. You're like, I will. Like in the trailer, that's like the pacing of that is weird. But the cuts of those like back and forth, it just feels so second nature. And I was like, oh, this is good.
You're
You
really
guys-
good at snapping.
You guys, yeah. It's the ring finger.
yeah.
Oh, the ring. You
Yeah.
psycho.
I can't do the middle, actually. Yeah. It's the weird phalanges. You want to hear one hand clap?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a
Did you
freak.
get that? Did you see that shit?
Now we have our mini.
All the things that Curtis
Watch Curtis use his body in weird ways.
This is definitely not what I got made fun of in junior high.
freak.
Yeah. But that just like simple back and forth and the way they cut between it and the performance of I was going to say of both of them.
Yeah.
The performance
That's how
of both
good it
of them.
was.
He's so good.
He's
Can we
so good. All the performances.
can we talk about
outstanding.
Delroy Lindo?
When
God.
he came on screen, I screamed.
I was like, fuck yes.
I had no idea.
He
'cause
rules.
I kept myself in the dark for most about this movie.
Me too, but dude, I walked in knowing Coogler, Jordan, and I was like, I think it's vampires, but I don't even know that it's vampires. That's all I knew. I went in, I didn't watch a single trailer. It's like, I don't need to. I'm going to see
You never
it.
saw a trailer?
No, why would I?
Oh wow.
I think I maybe saw
Okay,
the
then
very first.
You got lucky.
I
then.
averted my eyes every time it
Yeah.
came on. in
Yeah,
the
I think I
theater.
saw like the first teasery, trailery thing, but I didn't read. I was like, why? I know I'm going to see it. I don't need to do any of that. So yeah, he pops up. I'm like, fuck yeah.
You just know you're in for a character when you see that.
Yeah,
guy.
the moment he came on screen, Maddie looked at me and she goes, "Can we go home and watch Gone in 60 Seconds?" I was like, "That's the one you picked."
Yeah. Fucking just
All of them.
strikes
Everyone.
the ground open with all of his choices. But his scene when he's talking about his history with the his brother or cousin, I think, when they passed the chain gang.
Oh my god.
And that's something else that you're like, someone wanted to cut this. So someone wanted to cut this.
Well, he
But-
slaps his leg at the end.
Oh my god! And he's just like, getting the song going.
That pain turning into a song. Oh,
That was it right there, man. That's the juice.
oh, that's good.
But like that's also the movie, in abstract is like him talking about and I think another cool choice is you hear the sound design goes to the stuff
It's like enacting
yeah.
his story, and it's gut wrenching.
of what happens that the clan does to his brother and just like grounds these characters for what they're about to do. It's it's all just like proof that you need this like 40 minutes, to like really invest in like the mayhem that happens
It's
later
such a good
on.
world too. It's like I just want to sit in this world as long as possible. It's
and-
all the production design, costume design, top to bottom. The witch lady throwing the bones and stuff. Like this is so fucking cool.
Smoke's first interaction with her, like you realize that they were together and had a child, but when he's like pissed off, he's like, no roots ever saved, blah blah blah. I've never seen a ghost, never done this, and she's like, basically like you watch your tongue and like the screen like kind of fizzles out and you hear the rumble and you're like, oh, this woman's got magic.
Yeah.
yeah. And he's kind of like, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. It's so fucking cool.
Haley Steinfeld,
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
so
Oh
good.
my God.
At first, I was like, man, her. When I saw the cast list and then I saw the trailer, I was like, man, her. And then I've always not really cared that much.
Oh, really?
And then just
I didn't know she was a
incredible.
recording artist. I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually that's how I knew of her
She was
originally.
nominated for an Oscar for her first role.
For True Grit, right?
Yeah.
Which and she's great in
Oh.
True Grit. She's absolutely
Sure.
outstanding.
I just know
in
her
True
from
Grit.
Pitch Perfect.
yeah.
She's
Right.
in like 2 or 3. I don't know.
So fucking good in what is a very difficult character to play off. You're like you're the one white girl who they like kind of obviously they say like my grandfather was half black or whatever,
Yeah.
which apparently is her real life story.
Who's
that-
also half Filipino.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
but it's obviously a quite different love story than Smoke's love story. Yet you're still so like pained for what those characters had to go through. So when they meet their awful demises, but then through the other brilliance of the plot machinations, they stay alive. It's just like
Right.
so fucking
Oh, and that
satisfying.
scene, and the scene when which one it does not become a vampire? Stack?
Smoke.
Smoke. When he looks over and sees her and the baby.
Oh my
was a
God!
moment.
Jess
That was a
Jess
moment for me.
fucking lost it on
Yeah,
that
that
one.
was a moment for me. It was beautiful.
Not expecting that because
Beautiful.
you're wanting, and you do get the payoff. You're wanting him to light that fucking KKK guy up,
Yeah, of course.
but then he drops and
It's
then
so
you're
great when he just turned. It's so good.
The best.
Like, yeah.
Oh, this movie rocks.
I
I need to watch it again. Let's go watch it again right now.
fucking.
I mean, if you guys want to not play Magic the Gathering and you want to go see it,
No, never.
Oh, we gotta talk about the sex. We gotta talk about the sex.
Shout out Eaton Coochie.
Shout out.
Shout out to Eaton
This is a
Coochie.
hot movie.
This movie's so hot.
Very
Those
hot
scenes
movie.
were
so horny.
very hot.
Yeah.
I was like, this is working. This
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, and Haley Steinfeld's line after she's a vampire, she obviously wants Stack to fuck her, and he's like, no, I won't do it. And she's like, you go up north and rob trains and gangsters and all this shit, but you won't steal this pussy for a night. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah,
That's good.
fuck yeah. But then the vampire drool, and then he realizes
Yeah.
that she's drooling, which then just becomes a hot thing.
Spit in my
Yeah.
mouth.
Just spit in my mouth, mommy.
Yep.
I was like, fuck yeah. Like, this is like good. I'm sure someone somewhere is laughing at that moment in the movie, but like people are like kind of, no one's laughing in my theater. Everyone's just like,
No one laughed
Yeah.
at mine. Everyone was
You
like,
know?
yes, get it. Spit in my mouth.
I was
hot.
just one more thing that this movie kind of, it throws away your prejudices against vampires a
Yeah.
little bit because it's doing so well to make them like appealing and sexy versus every other vampire movie. It's like clearly in absolute evil. These things are like, I don't know. Do I want to join these guys?
Actually,
He makes a good point.
I don't know, man. I feel like vampires lately have been too sexy.
They have absolutely been too sexy. I think this did a good job of marrying the two.
Marrying the-
They
yeah,
are not
yes.
either. They are both.
Yes.
Which makes it hard.
Yes. Yeah, it's not none of that fucking sparkly bullshit.
No.
Even
they're still
though-
they're still
even
very
though-
dangerous.
I know.
Twilights 1 and 2 were perfect.
That's the skin of a killer. So I'd watch your mouth.
Skin of killer, Bella. MVP segment for me, outside of the two moments that like sent my soul into the nether realm, the Pale Pale Moon segment, when shit's like really starting to turn. that song just fucking rips, and the actor who plays Perlene just could sing her ass off.
Oh,
so like
yeah.
the beat of that song fucking rules, and the filmmaking is like matching that energy of that song, and the cuts. Cornbread's off pissing in the woods.
Oh, so good.
Fucking Stack is in the room with the vampire, and everyone's trying to find him, trying to get in, and then just the way, like, you know, she's like, this Perlene's like crawling around the floor, and I'm just like, the energy and intensity of the scene is unmatched. This is the coolest shit. This is just like, oh, God,
I love Coogler. I'm so excited for him to make more movies.
I know.
And it's doing well. It's 60 million opening
They do
weekend.
very fucking well.
What's the record that you were talking about today?
I brought this up. It's the highest.
No, Curtis said it.
Okay. Then say it again. You said it.
It was this and Austin, you say it.
The last time an original studio film had this great of an opening was Nope, and the one before that was Us. So
Yeah.
the lesson is black horror fucking rips.
Yeah.
it
Oh,
does well, and it's
Also,
awesome.
this movie shot by a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very,
Autumn-
very few women in this role.
Autumn
Yeah.
Arkapaw.
Mm-hmm.
Did she do his other stuff?
She did Black Panther.
Okay.
I don't know if she did anything before that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looks
just-
fucking great.
yeah. Shot on IMAX cameras, big ass, heavy fucking IMAX
Big,
cameras.
loud.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd love to talk to any of these people and be like, so do you have to just ADR the whole
It is.
movie? It is the whole thing.
Just when they use the one that's full frame,
Yeah.
that is no sound.
You can't.
You're not getting any sound.
It's. Have you seen the behind the scenes stuff in Nope? It's.
Oh,
It is absurdly
no.
loud.
It probably sounds like his like no electric thing.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
going, just
It is so incredibly loud. Like you wouldn't even need a sound person on set. It's like why? There's nothing to capture.
Damn, you weren't kidding. You cannot get a fucking seat.
Yeah.
At that,
Dude,
at the
I was-
studios or the Universal
at the
IMAX.
70?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's out all week. So I'm hoping that means they're going to extend it, and I can try and go next week.
Well,
I got to see this on film.
because the fucking Marvel movie's coming out on the 2nd.
That'll get the weekend, but during the week they're gonna sneak in.
It's
some-
playing throughout the. So far, I'm looking at Monday. It's playing, but still same shit, dude.
still.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, people really flock to the 70
yeah.
and 35 every time. Whatever the last thing was. That came out on
Yeah, who is
35.
telling these people you have to do 70? Like, you don't know that.
Well,
you
you
have
don't
to
know
be-
what that
you
is.
don't- Yeah, you don't know that's supposed to be a thing.
Yeah, don't take an IC. Yeah.
Well, the amount of
For
people
me.
that I know that like to go that like movies, and then they say, "Oh, I'm seeing it in 70 millimeter IMAX, like as a badge of honor," right? The amount of people that I are saying that I've talked to that are like do that for any movie,
Yeah.
particularly Oppenheimer.
I get it too because it's like that's a rare thing. Like you'll be able to buy and watch it digitally forever. Like you're not going to be able to see it on 70 millimeter
No.
very often. So I fully get people wanting to go do that. I want to go do that.
Yeah.
But I got to fucking wait
Yeah.
because these jabronis are taking up all the seats.
I have seats for
This
next Sunday.
jabroni.
Yeah.
You do for the 70?
Yeah. I got out of the first one. I was like, I got to get a better seat for the next time because I was too close.
Is it full?
I don't know. I didn't look. I got my seat.
Wait, on this coming Sunday,
Yeah.
it's very full.
Damn it.
At like noon.
Noon?
It's very full. I just looked.
Is
Yeah.
it one empty seat?
I was looking.
Get two.
I know at this point I'm just going to have to tell
We're
Cyril. I just
here
have to
we
see
are.
this by myself.
Yeah. I think for my second viewing, I will go alone. Kaylin enjoyed it, but I don't
Yeah.
think she's not going to freak out to go see it again.
Yeah.
Bless,
I just
bless
had-
her heart. She
I-
screamed a lot.
Oh, hell yeah.
She's great to see a movie with.
That
Yeah.
rattlesnake in that truck
Oh.
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me.
Same. Big same. Scared the shit out
Fucking
of
got me.
my whole theater was like, oh!
No, dude. At noon, this is the theater. It's all but the
how
first two
how good
rows.
is your fake limp?
Oh, to sit in the handicap seat? I don't think I need to live
Daniel
to get into
Day-Lewis
that.
over here.
I'm a method actor.
Let me hobble you. We'll get good seats.
Hold on. I'm gonna just. I have to walk with a limp now for the next. No,
Oh.
you don't need to hobble me.
Well, no,
I
we
can
gotta
act.
we gotta commit.
And Saul Williams played Sammy's father, the preacher.
That's Saul Williams.
That's Saul Williams.
Wow.
Yeah. Love that shit.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
He did a great job.
He was great.
Dude,
Good for Saul.
Yeah.
even the 10:30 fucking p.m. on a
Oh.
Sunday night.
All of
Yeah.
them. All of them. Anything during the week, middle of the day, you figure people are at work. No, they're not.
Nope.
They're sinners. It's a night. So good. You know what? As annoying it is that I can't go see it in 70 easily. Fuck yeah, that it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
crushing.
It's
great.
all right.
Nice.
'cause that means
Wicked's
we'll get
down to
more.
3.9.
What?
Sorry, I'm looking up other.
Wicked's letterboxed right now.
Yeah.
What do you care if it's down?
Because I was just admiring, Sinners is holding at a 4.3. in the way that Wicked was like also like 4-2 with its opening weekend. I was like, no, not 4-2.
So insanely
The
petty.
incredible
vindictive.
film Wicked.
Too many songs though.
Look,
Hey,
I got a little high.
I didn't say it's too many songs. I said that I wanted to see the version without the song.
You know
That
what makes
was-
Sinners better? No songs.
The music
Absolutely.
in this movie,
The Cody cut.
the music in this movie gave me that elevated feeling. I was like, now I get what those theater kids were feeling in Wicked when Cynthia Erivo hits that.
Oh, yeah.
When Catton starts singing
Oh,
Traveling, like this out of body thing. I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why this is
so
this is a better musical than that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think it's a music.
Wink, wink. If you haven't picked up what our hint is or theme is yet,
Is it time to rate Sinners?
It is time to rate Sinners.
It's time to read
I'll give this film a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Very
Because
good.
I've just been singing that ad nauseum the last week.
On the rocky road to
See?
double and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Are
you allowed to do that?
That has been in the public domain for so long. that
Oh,
it's-
okay.
It's so deep in my blood. I love it so much. I don't know. I love it. God damn it.
I give this film.
Actually, is that public domain worldwide?
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I give this film throwing bones and trinkets and stuff because I love that shit so much. This movie fucking rules. I've been thinking about it all day. I'm gonna see it many times. It's gonna become part of my essence. I love it. I'm so glad it exists. It's the greatest.
I want Lucas to go because I'm going to go last because I'm going to tell a story.
Okay.
Tell us a little tale, if you would.
Well, then I'm going to give this movie a half cup of vampire drool spit just poured into the back of my throat because, my God, I want to fuck this movie and I want it to fuck me and then be in my blood for the rest of my life.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, hold on. I would like to give this movie one movie for my dad.
Yes.
Because I have never sat in a movie and thought about my dad or anybody anything other than a movie, particularly about another person, more for the entire duration of the film. I just could not stop thinking about my dad because of his obsession, lifelong obsession with blues music. And I called him right when this movie was over, and I was like, for anybody that's been listening to the show for a while, you know about my dad's feelings about movies. But for those of you who have not, my dad, really a terrible movie watcher, hates, for the most part, just bitches and moans about every fucking movie that he watches, right? He said there's only 2 good movies that exist. 5 Easy Pieces. And I think I forget what the other
The
one
Batman.
was. Yeah, right. No, but anyway.
Joker.
He did really love Joker. He loved Joker. He thought Joker was brilliant. But I called him and I was like, you need to go see this movie. And you need to go see this. It is your shit. It is your shit, the movie. Now, if you watch a synopsis or read a synopsis or watch a trailer, read a synopsis, you're gonna see the word vampire. Just ignore it. Go watch the fucking movie, right? It's hardly about vampires. Go watch the fucking movie. I know it's obviously about vampires, but I can't tell it.
get him
I
in
gotta
there.
get him.
You gotta
into
get
the
him in
thing,
there, yeah.
I gotta get him into it. He will undoubtedly get a little bit bored during the rounding up the troops first hour or so of the film, but it's so much his shit. And the little story I'm going to tell is, I think, one of the weirder, cooler stories that has happened to me in my life. But it's all about it is something that took place in Tutwiler, Mississippi, with he and I when I was about 15 years old. He drove with me from St. Louis, where he's from, to New Orleans, and the idea was that he was gonna. These were trips that he'd done throughout his life, but primarily as a kid. He'd hitchhike before he could drive, and then he'd ride his motorcycle when he could drive down through Mississippi to go find old blues players, or if they weren't living anymore, to go find where they were buried and things like that, just because he was obsessed with the stuff. So we went to each one of the places where Robert Johnson is allegedly buried. I think there's about 3 or 4. But then the more bizarre one is that Sonny Boy Williamson II is buried outside of Tutwiler, Mississippi, and the graveyard where he's buried is in this tiny. I don't know what it looks like anymore. It might be more easy to find, but it's this tiny little cemetery that's like off the side of the fucking road. Like, this is a legendary blues performer. He's the person that taught Howlin' Wolf how to play harmonica, and he really wanted me to find his graves. Anyway, so we're going down there, and the way that you find it, because at this point there weren't iPhones and shit, right? The way you found it was you had to go into Tutwiler, and you had to find this building that had this map drawn on it. And it was a big mural that was to show you how to get to the cemetery where he's buried. And it was probably, I don't know, 9 p.m. when we rolled in there. And it was weird. You're driving through. This is a very impoverished town. You just see people sort of stumbling around drunk. There's barely any lights on. We are the only white people, probably for miles, right? And we're looking at the wall, and we're getting it down, and we start driving. We still can't find it. Really really struggling, so we drive back to the town after about an hour. And we're looking at the thing, and Dad's like, "Hey, wait here." And he gets out of the car, and he goes to a guy that's sort of just ambling around, and he starts talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, okay." Waves him back. Yeah, it sounds crazy. Yeah. Guy gets in the back of the car.
How old are you?
15.
Cool.
I got real long hair. The guy's like, "Hi, ma'am, how are you?" Right? and he's like, "Oh, my bad." Immediately, "Oh, my bad." Right? My bad. So this guy leads us.
You're also wearing eyeliner. So.
Also wearing eyeliner. This guy leads us. He shows us how to get there, and we drive over to the cemetery. And then I spent because this is the part where it gets weird. My dad's like, "Okay, show us where the headstone is," and the guy's like, "Yeah, it's somewhere over here." And he starts like looking around. My dad's like, "It's not over here." By the way, there's not that many headstones in this place. It's pretty small. But we're walking around with cigarette lighters, looking at each headstone, trying to find it. And at the very back, I found it, just sitting in the corner. But it was just it was just one of these like random weird experiences, trying to find something that was such like a mythological thing to me that I couldn't. Just feeling like it was so cool to just do shit that my dad used to try to do, but then to like try to find this old lost to history bluesman's grave just so I could see it. Right, there's a picture of me somewhere, like an actual picture floating around of me and the stranger standing.
You don't remember this person's name?
No, I don't. My dad. I'm sure my dad does. He actually stayed in touch with him.
He's been dead.
yeah.
Dad, years.
Dad sent him a bunch of. I think he sent him. I think he gave him like 20 or $50 or something. But then I think he sent him a bunch of CDs, or I think he tried to like help the guy. I think he tried to help the guy's like kid or nephew or something out with like something in the music business. I don't remember what it was. This was years ago, but he stayed in touch with the guy for a while.
Hell yeah.
It was Robert Johnson.
There you go.
No, but this is pretty cool. Over the years, my dad has from that trip, he would pick up rocks or pieces of like bark from places, and he'd hold on to them. And over the years, he's given them to me with a note written on them to be like, "This is where I grabbed this."
That's why
from
this
that
house is
trip.
Haunted.
All
the ghost stones.
Ghost rocks.
Slowly haunting you for the rest of your life. It's like I can't give you all the pieces at once.
Senator SHUDcast approved.
Oh, fucking yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lone descent. No, I can't even joke. Of course.
No, I almost feel fucking jackassy for just even having that one little gripe that I have about the movie with the vampire.
Yeah, I know. I dropped
no.
mine.
Drives me nuts.
I dropped mine. I was like, nope,
Interested?
I'm wrong.
See what you think a second time, if that changes. Fuck yeah. So next time you're gonna hear us talk about a
You're gonna
movie
hear something.
in a different theme that is similar to this one.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will.
Yeah. So until next time, join us on Discord. Tell us, what did you think of Sinners?
We love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.